Next manga, I say we do Chainsaw Man. If we're gonna stick into this.
I knew you were gonna
It's
choose
a
this. All right.
okay. Tell me when you have it up.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Cool.
All right. So hold on. I just want to like go off for 15 seconds. I haven't intimately read Chainsaw Man, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of jumped in a little bit on this series, and I get why people like it, but at the same time, I'm like, this is just the weirdest thing on the planet. So I'll just kind of get the conversation, I guess, going with, powers form currently makes knives just jut out of people. And I'm just like, the power scaling in this series makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Like, zero.
That's the point. Well, okay. So, we could always talk about that in later. I say we talk about the manga, but or at least the chapter that came out, chapter 91. And I think the series, I could definitely see the series. I feel like the series is definitely gonna come to an end. I say if I'm gonna give it a number, I say I don't know, maybe chapter 100 just to be clean or whatever.
No, dude. You think it's gonna go down that quickly with the way this leaves? I don't know, man.
Yes. I mean, like the main bad guy is like right there with like zombies and everything. Yeah.
But is that the real?
I mean,
main
like,
bad guy, though? I mean,
yes,
you
because
thought the Gun Devil was the main bad guy. And then
he's
they
done.
started
He's
bumping
gone.
up in between.
The gun.
Yeah, I know, but couldn't there still be something more? Because
No, because we've seen the Darkness Devil. I think he ate that one, and I think he ate the Hell Devil. And remember, Nazis don't exist anymore. So there's.
Yeah, and he already went to hell recently.
Oh, and
obliterated that
yes,
entire
yeah.
civilization, basically.
Also, we haven't even started on the chapter. I need to look it up. Apparently Sunday doesn't exist in this world because some point in time, the Chainsaw Man, like not Denji himself, but the person, I guess the monster,
Previous Chainsaw Man,
or like I guess the monster itself, Chainsaw Man, ate the Sun Devil or something like that, or ate some type of like devil that like people like. There's no Sunday in that world where like it's literally 6 days a week instead
That's
of
weird.
yeah. So
Because it just erases itself, right? It
yeah.
doesn't exist. It didn't exist.
Yeah. But like starting off with the chapter, I just love the title, Power, Power, Power. So it's like mainly, it's about her. What I like about this is because in the previous chapter we were like, oh wow, she just portrayed Denji like that, and to be honest, I was like, well, I'm not really surprised because she's like, Power is very similar to a cat. If Denji is a dog, Power's like a cat where she like does her own thing.
Okay.
And she doesn't care, and which is actually very evident because like when we first meet her, again, you haven't like got into it not too much, and I do say you should probably like reread it, even if you like speed through it.
I will. Don't worry.
She has when we first introduced her, when we first get introduced for her, she's like weird, whatever, or actually, well, every character, the way they're written is just very like odd, but somehow real in a weird way. I can't even like form words. She has a cat, and she actually like really liked that cat, and like one of like the first main missions, like we got to go find the cat. So like yeah, they went to. So she's very much a cat, like if you want to see her, and Denji being a dog, and that kind of speaks to Denji being like loyal to this girl, Makima, I think that's her name, if I remember correctly. But oh man, she's the worst. But like, and also him having the little chainsaw dog, who is the monster, I guess, in like a cute form, which is also a dog. But going through the chapters, or at least the page, I was kind of surprised that she hesitated because I'm like, oh, maybe yeah, it's like she wants to look out for herself. But then you see like flashbacks of them like, hanging out, just and like it's like subtle panels, like them taking a shower together, just them like hanging out and stuff like that. And there's one panel too where you see like they rescued the cat together, so like there's like she remembers that. And like if you're talking about power, yeah, like knives out everywhere, yeah, it's I mean, you have a devil that's straight up what was he, the Darkness Devil, which dragged everyone to hell, and like everyone lost their arms, and yeah, it was pretty crazy because like I didn't expect hell to look like that, where it's just doors and like a field of, I think, flowers, if I remember correctly. So
that's insane. Okay.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy. And as you can see, like she's getting chased by the zombies, and I was actually really happy that she was like saving Denji like towards the end. And the funny thing is, when they go to the dumpster, that same position that she's on top and he's in the bottom. That's like a very similar position where I forgot his name, but I call him Poochie, the little chainsaw dog. That's the same Pact when he was like, you know, that was the same position they were both in when they were in the dumpster. So they're, you know, and this is where, you know, they make the pact and everything. Where like, come find me, you know, because like once I'm gone, I'm not gonna be the same person. But if you find, you know, the Blood Devil again, please be friends. So, and like, this is such a different contrast from compared to like Genjutsu, where like devils are also a like figuratory, but also a real like thing. You know what I mean? Where like fear makes it stronger. Where like the reason the Gun Devil was so like powerful and feared because, you know, let's say it's our world, right? You know, guns is like an inherent fear for a lot of people, you know, wherever you're from. You know, even if, you know, march for, you know, the rights to bear arms, it's still like, you know, it's still, I don't want to get shot. Like nobody does, right? So,
yeah, I feel you.
And like for that to be like an actual like monster and like thing, like to physically like, you know, fight, I guess, if you want to call that, it's interesting.
It's a negative feedback loop, right? Like it feeds into itself because, you know, people are scared of guns, so the gun devil gets stronger. And yeah, no, I feel you. And then its strength only further increases their fear, for sure.
But this chapter kind of like not that I had mixed emotions, but like, man, there was moments in like, I guess I want to say definitely between page 12, where like Denji didn't have like, you know, you go back to the chapter 1, he didn't have a life. Like he was like had a dead end job as like a mercenary, if you want to call it, killing like demons and stuff like that, where he was crazy in debt. And like he couldn't, like, you know, there's days where he can only eat like bread for a meal or like water, and that was like the most exciting thing he had. And like since they met, you know, Power and the other guy who I can't even is it Ayuki? I can't even pronounce his name. Where he, you know, also died. Like he lived a life, and like that's what he wanted in the, you know, like actually when he first met what's her name, the girl that, you know, that's right now attacking everyone and has control of like almost every power. It has control over almost every power. Where like he was excited just to get like a sandwich, you know, or like a hug, because he, you know, he never had that before. So it's just, you know, like, I don't know. For me, it's like, man, Denji, like if you had it rough, like he had it rough, and like to just get that ounce of happiness, even though it's probably haven't been a full year, and he, you know, he was ready to accept his like life, and I'm like, I get it, because it's, you know, the most exciting thing was to like get a sandwich and like, or like a meal from a restaurant, like he literally killed, I don't know, like anyone for that, you know, because, you know, he can't, because he was, you know, heck, he, you know, the joke around, I don't know if you ever seen like the memes from is like, you know, Denji before, like, yeah, I'll kill anyone for, you know, to touch a titty, but like now it's like, no, I must protect my family. So,
oh wow,
yeah,
okay, that's crazy different.
Yeah, because like he's a very different protagonist, where like any ounce of like just like basic necessities that we find, you know, like sleeping in the bed, or just like, you know, eating a full meal with your family, or just eating a meal, you know what I mean? It's like a extreme luxury to him. So it's like, you know, he gets that, like, you know, he's happy with that. But I'm glad that Power just kind of like convinces him, like, don't do that, don't throw away your life. And it's interesting because we never saw Power like really because they act like brother and sister. That's kind of weird, actually. I don't want to say that because there's very some, like, you know, because they made out.
Not quite that relationship.
Yeah, it's not that quite a relationship, but they're very buddy, you know. Because again, he never had a relationship with a girl in general. That was like one of his wishes. Like, man, I wish I could like have a girlfriend, you know, and stuff like that. You know, just anything aside from just working at a, you know. Again, first chapter, he didn't have an eye, and I think he like sold one of his like kidneys, or liver, like, yeah, it was one of his kidneys, just so he could like lower down the debt, but it still didn't do like nothing. So it's rough. But I'm
yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's a tough life for any protag, for sure.
Yeah. And like I just zooming past, like being like, you know, this is very short. You know, even though it's 19 pages, it feels very short. Which is kind of very when it comes to Chainsaw Man, it somehow does that because they have pages where it's like 19 pages, and that's a lot of pages for for in one chapter, right? But it feels crazy short. But I mean, coming from the trash, Denji's like emerging from the trash, like that's just yeah,
rising from the trash.
yeah, like like insert clip from like Always Sunny, like I'm the trash man, just he's not trash no more, and I think that's like maybe he still considers himself that. Like I don't know if that's this writer is. I can't tell if he's trying to be deep or just like whatever. And it works both ways, which is weird. Where like these characters like the way they talk is like yeah, I guess someone would talk like that if they they never had anything to begin with, So. But yeah, Denji emerging from the trash and like he made a contract with Power. So and then you see this guy who I thought he was controlled by this girl, but I guess not because I'm not actually too familiar with his devil abilities. So and he reminds me of Mac Mickelson. I don't know if you see the resemblance. So yeah. And to be honest, like again, the way they talk, like if you are Denji, he'll set him free. But if you're not, just keep sleeping in the dumpster. Which is like, what if he was? What would you have done? You'd have just like kept him there, or just?
I don't even know, man. That's funny that you say that because it's kind of like, then just keep on sleeping in the dumpster. You think to yourself, oh, well, do you need him to do that so it doesn't go off on you?
Like, do you need him, or do you need it? Yeah, or do you?
Like, denied about it? Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure he wanted Denji to come back, but like.
Well, yeah, no. But I mean the part about like sleeping in the dumpster, like that's very different, right? There's definitely, I guess, hidden meaning there. It's either gonna be some sort of stress,
and
in the ass, a fight.
And I like to think we're like, well, I guess he doesn't consider himself trash anymore if he's like emerging from garbage, right? I mean, am I reading too deep into it? You think? I don't know. Like,
who knows?
I can't tell with him sometimes. Like, I honestly.
Also, probably a little too early because I mean, the emotional, we'll say, stability of this series is basically a zero.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how randomly like Power got killed in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't open the door, Denji. Don't open the door. Opens the door, boom, done. And you're just sitting there, okay. Well, that came out of flipping nowhere.
Yeah, at all.
So, it's an emotional up and down at all points in the series for sure. So I don't really think you can say that yet. Mm-hmm. Because again, when the gun devil finally is killed, instantly Denji's depressed after that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously because...
Oh, yes, you're right. Where like his...
Killing,
yeah, he had to kill this friend, and like it's just it was, and again,
the point still being that you went from it's kind of like a pivotal good moment because the gun devil's dying, but the friend dies, so it goes into a tail spin and it goes lower, and then it goes even lower with Power dying, and then it's going like even lower because he's living in the chainsaw thing, and then all of a sudden it just veers up, and he's like, okay, I've got a contract, I'm gonna kind of live, and that just made when that's the emotional roller coaster you just went on. You can't really comment on.
And it's also insane where it's like, whoa, his power comes from people fearing him, and like everyone's cheering. It's like a reverse spirit bomb. Where like that's how I got like, oh no, this person is like losing.
Planet Earth, give me your energy.
No, please don't.
Please, I'm good. Yeah.
Stop this right now. But so I do suggest rereading it. See, the Gun Devil is also an interesting devil because apparently, okay, so, I guess spoilers from like, I don't know, 12 to maybe 20 chapters ago. When we see the Gun Devil, it's the massive monster. And apparently America has the power of the Gun Devil. Because, so, again, it's an insane manga, and like, it's also one of the darkest mangas for just speaking in, this story. It's one of the darkest mangas like Shonen has ever published, at least that I can think of right now. From like at least, or I could say at least recent years, because back in the day the 70s, you had anything. I mean, and it's also very reminiscent of Devilman, where like again that has some very dark themes. Like you have like lynching and everything. It's very like, and even the ending itself is like, wow, that's kind of is yeah. I don't.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
It's an unusual.
Yeah.
I guess.
And I guess
Dark, I probably feel you.
yeah, and it's very. It reminds me of I'm surprised how it's shonen, but it's very similar to like I can't even pronounce the other word. It's like it's called Shanen, I think it's called. You know, kind of like Berserk or those other ones, or like Gantz.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The way darker and more mature series. Yeah, I feel you. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I'll definitely go back and check it out for sure.
But
I'm actually kind of like starting to look through chapter 1 a little bit now.
But yeah, going back to the Gun Devil. The Gun Devil, just a quick rundown. The Gun Devil is that's probably one of the most horrific chapters I ever read. Aside from like Junto Ito's like work and stuff like that. Have you ever read his horror stories?
No, I tend to veer away from that.
Yeah, that's to be in Shonen Jump and to like see that. I'm like, whoa, that's like. I mean, manga can make you feel happy, sad, and all this, and this was just like shocking. I'm like, whoa, this is like brutal. This is just like I like who thinks of something like that. Yeah, and basically to run it down, so America apparently has the power of the Gun Devil. And to way to activate it, the President of the United States sacrifices one life of every American, but without the knowledge of the America. Like let's say, yeah, it's like and then like, whew. I mean, again, like the next chapter when
so it's not even Denji's dead, eh? It's the death of his father.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And I'm also there's another thing, going on a long tangent, like going over places. We still don't know why she's like. I mean, aside from like maybe she wants to control the chainsaw monster, right?
Or we have no idea why Makima's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, with like Denji, like, oh, did he kill his father? Like, what's up? Like, how do you know his father? Because she mentioned his father before. But going back to the Gun Devil, like again, the next chapter that you actually see him use his power, and it's like pretty horrific because. It's very like okay, you see bullets flying, and then you just see. I'm just gonna ruin the chapter. Spoilers, please. And it's also like I guess it's pretty brutal just to talk about. You see the Gun Devil use his ability, and he's a massive monster, and you just see bullets flying everywhere in like different parts of like Japan. And like everywhere, like you see like a church, and I think you see like I can't remember other places too, but like aside from seeing like the bullets fly, you see names like across the panels, like just a bunch of names. Like I don't know, like let's say like a random like Yamamoto something, and then like just a whole bunch of names, panel after panel, and like those are the names that the Gun Devil just killed, and it's like it's very I want to say it's similar to like.
Macabre.
I'm sorry.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's one of the most like that's. I don't want to say heart wrenching, but it was like, oh man, that's just who thinks of that? And I don't want to say in a bad way. It's more like just surprising and shocking. I think it's supposed to be shocking. It's supposed to like emanate that. It's supposed to like this is a monster, and this is I mean I don't think the writers like F guns and stuff like that. This is just this world, and that's how it is, and horrific. But it could also be preaching like, look how bad it is, because there is if you want to talk about our school shootings and stuff like that, and like gun laws and all that stuff. But going back to Chainsaw Man and Denji himself, I am the peace sign. He's back, and I don't know what's gonna happen next. I honestly, with this manga, every chapter is like, excuse me.
It's up in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, someone's like, okay, it might be another fight scene, it might be a backstory, but like this one's like, I have no clue. I don't think Denji. I think Denji might make it in the end. I have no clue, but yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter and how it's gonna go. So that's quick and long rundown of Chainsaw Man, because we didn't get to it last time, so hopefully and also let people go ahead and read it.